Homework 24 is the start of Chapter 6. However, some of these problems are still in that same section as our trigonometric functions. In fact, all of Homework 24 is going to be in the same slice of the pie, even though we've moved to a new chapter. These ones are going to look very familiar to you. We've done some that were problem type 1 already. Now we're going to do problem type 2, which we're basically going to do the same way. And so I'm going to say theta is an angle in quadrant 3. So my reference angle is over here in quadrant 3. I know that my sine is equal to negative 3/5. Sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite side is negative 3. You can see it's going down. My hypotenuse is 5. I want to find the missing side using my Pythagorean theorem. So negative 3 squared plus x squared is going to equal 5 squared. Negative 3 squared is 9, so 9 plus x squared equals 5 squared, which is 25. If I subtract 9, x squared equals 16, so x is equal to 4. Now, we can see that this is going in the negative direction, so even though we got x equals 4, we know it's plus or minus 4, and that we actually have to use the negative 4, since we're over there in quadrant 3. Then we can answer the questions, because now we have our reference triangle drawn. So secant. The secant is the inverse of the cosine. It's going to be the hypotenuse over the adjacent. And we're also going to do cotangent. Cotangent is the inverse of the tangent, so we have adjacent over opposite. So secant, hypotenuse over adjacent, 5 over negative 4. So we're going to say negative 5/4 because we like the negative in front instead of on the bottom. Cotangent, adjacent over opposite, negative 4 over negative 3 is going to give me a positive 4/3. So just like we did before, if we can draw a reference triangle in there, find our missing side, we can then go ahead and answer. Keep in mind, if you've forgotten, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. The cosecant is the inverse of the sine, so hypotenuse over opposite. The secant is the opposite of the cosine, or the inverse of the cosine, so hypotenuse over adjacent. Cotangent is the inverse of the tangent, so adjacent over opposite. So if you've forgotten those or don't have those memorized, we can go from there. If you don't have those memorized, you might want to memorize them because we're going to do a lot of that during trig class, as if we haven't already. So let theta be an angle in quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 over here, my cosine is negative 12/13. The cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so negative 12 and 13. So using my Pythagorean theorem, negative 12 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared. Negative 12 would be 144. 13 squared is 169. If I subtract my 144, x squared is going to be 25, so x equals 5. It is going in the positive direction, so it is a positive 5. And now I have my reference triangle all labeled. I can go ahead and answer my question. Cosecant. Cosecant is the inverse of the sine, so we have hypotenuse over opposite. Cotangent, inverse of the tangent, so adjacent over opposite. So my hypotenuse is 13, my opposite is 5. I'm going to have 13 over 5 then. My adjacent over my opposite, negative 12 over 5, so negative 12/5. number 3, let theta be an angle in quadrant 4. So quadrant 4, my reference angle's over here. My cosine is 5/8. My cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so 5 and 8. Using my Pythagorean theorem, 5 squared plus x squared equals 8 squared. 25 plus x squared equals 64. If I subtract my 25, that's not going to go in there as nice as we had before. 39. X squared is going to equal 39. So I'm just going to have to do the square root of 39. It is going in the negative direction, so I'm actually going to have negative square root of 39. Got my reference triangle drawn. I'm going to do cosecant. The cosecant is the inverse of the sine, so hypotenuse over opposite, and tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So hypotenuse is 8 over the opposite, negative square root of 39. So if I have 8 over negative square root of 39, we have to rationalize the denominator. Take it times the square root of 39 and times the square root of 39. They're going to put the negative in front, so I get negative 8 square root of 39 over just the 39 when I simplify that. Tangent, opposite over adjacent. The opposite is negative square root of 39. The adjacent is 5. So I'm going to have negative square root of 39 over 5. Again, I'll put the negative in front when you get it typed in, but it's going to look something sort of like that.